You just assaulted your new boss. Those 7 words hit the courthouse hallway like a thunderclap. Heads whipped around. Conversations froze mid-sentence. The white cop who'd just slammed a black woman into the wall took a shaky step back, his face drained of color. The day had started like any other, just another quiet Tuesday at a small Georgia County courthouse. Officer Gerald Allen was sitting at the witness stand, cool as ever, arms folded like he owned the place. The hearing was about a violent traffic stop involving a black teenager. The teen's attorney claimed excessive force. Allen just smirked. This wasn't his first rodeo. He'd danced through hearings like this before and always walked out clean. In the back row, a tall black woman watched everything silently. She wore a crisp navy blazer, hair pulled back tight. Her posture, it screamed experience. She didn't say a word, didn't flinch. But Allen kept glancing her way. Each look, tighter jaw, tenser eyes, like her presence alone was a threat. When the judge finally adjourned, folks started packing up. The woman stood up and calmly walked toward Allen, her voice steady but firm. "Officer Allen, can I get your badge number?" Boom, instant reaction. Allen snapped. He shoved her hard into the wall and barked, "Back off! You people need to learn your place." Time froze. A briefcase hit the floor. A clerk stopped mid-step. Gasps rippled through the hallway. Then a door creaked open. The judge stepped out, his voice cold, sharp, like a gavel coming down. "You just assaulted your new boss." Allen blinked. "What?" The woman didn't flinch. She calmly adjusted her blazer and stared him down. The silence that followed? It was thick, not empty, charged, and it was just the beginning. Allen's smirk vanished. His body stiffened. His eyes darted from the judge to the woman he'd just slammed. "The boss," he stammered. Dead silence. Even the clerk hadn't moved. The bailiff's mouth hung open. The judge stepped forward, voice steady and cold. "Sheriff Carter, are you hurt?" The black woman didn't blink. She turned slightly toward the judge. "No, sir," she said, smooth as steel. "But the incident has been noted." Allen stuttered. "There's got to be some mistake. Nobody told me we had a new sheriff." The judge raised an eyebrow. "You never asked, and clearly you didn't think you needed to." 2 bailiffs stepped in. One said, "We'll need your weapon, Officer Allen." The other had cuffs ready. Allen backed up. "You've got to be kidding me." The judge, not kidding. "He's under arrest for assault. Take him in." The cuffs clicked. And just like that, Allen's anger turned into disbelief. This is crazy. She never even said who she was. Now the woman, Sheriff Maya Carter, finally turned toward him. Her voice, velvet and steel. "You didn't need to know who I was to treat me with respect, but you chose violence." No one stepped in to help him. No one said a word. Everyone knew exactly what had just happened and why. 2 weeks earlier, Maya Carter had been quietly sworn in as the county's first black female sheriff in 150 years. No press release, no photos. The department kept it quiet to avoid backlash. But Maya didn't take the job for applause. She took it to root out the rot. And today, the rot showed itself. Maya Carter didn't just wake up one day and become sheriff. Her path was built brick by brick, every piece laid with hard work and a fight for justice. She was born and raised in the same county she now serves. Her mother worked overnight shifts, cleaning hospital floors just to keep food on the table. Maya learned early. Black girls don't get second chances, especially not here. At 17, she watched her older brother get locked up for something he didn't do. Fake evidence, dirty cop, a system that refused to admit it was wrong. He lost 2 years of his life. Maya? She lost her innocence. She could have left, moved to a new city, started fresh. But she stayed, not to run from the system, but to fight it. She enrolled in a state college, majoring in criminal justice. Worked 3 jobs to make it through. No connections, no famous last name, just grit and fire. After graduation, the only department that would even look her way was 2 counties over, so she took the job. The environment? Toxic. Racism wasn't loud, it was quiet, constant. In meetings, they called her sweetheart. When she spoke up, they called her angry. When she applied for a promotion, not leadership material. But Maya didn't fold. She studied harder, trained longer, took the night shifts no one wanted. Some mocked her behind her back, others quietly paid attention. One day, she blew the whistle on a falsified arrest report that would have put an innocent teen behind bars. That's when her name started getting around. When the sheriff's seat opened back in her hometown, people whispered she didn't stand a chance. But she didn't just get the job, she earned it. So that day in the courthouse hallway, she wasn't just wearing a badge. She was carrying the weight of every wall she'd broken down, every wrong she'd survived. And now the system itself had handed her the very man who represented everything she fought against. Officer Allen sat red-faced in holding, still boiling with anger. He hadn't even processed the irony yet, that the black woman he shoved without a second thought now held his fate in her hands. Maya didn't visit him, not yet. She wasn't here for theatrics, she was here for justice. The next morning, Maya walked into the sheriff's office in full uniform, badge shining, eyes sharp. She called her first department meeting. Half the room was dead silent. Some didn't even hide their scowls. She opened with one line, "There will be no loyalty to silence. Not anymore." Then she dropped the files. Thick stacks, old complaints against Allen, lost reports, ignored statements, videos that had mysteriously never made it into evidence. For years, Allen had targeted black drivers, harassed teens, and fudged reports. He called it keeping order. His buddies said he's just doing his job. But now, it had a name, abuse of power. Maya ordered internal affairs to reopen every case. Civil rights lawyers were brought in. The DA got a full file, including the courthouse hallway video. And then, she did what no one saw coming. She held a press conference. Standing tall in front of the county seal, Maya spoke loud and clear. Law enforcement is not a weapon to be used against the people. It is a responsibility, and it starts with accountability. Local news ran it live. By the next morning, national outlets had picked it up. Allen? He watched it from his cell. The same guy who used to bark orders was now facing criminal charges: assault, misconduct, civil rights violations. And the woman he'd dismissed as just another angry black woman, she was tearing down the very system that protected him, with facts, with files, with force. But Maya knew firing one bad cop wouldn't fix decades of damage. Rot runs deep. She needed allies, not just in uniform, but in the community. From day one, Maya started building bridges. She met with local activists, church leaders, neighborhood organizers. She held public forums, safe spaces for people to speak the truth. No filters, no fear. One evening at a town hall, a mother stood up and told her son's story, pulled over for no reason, humiliated, now too scared to walk the streets. Maya listened. She nodded. She promised change. Because trust. You don't get it for free, you earn it. She launched bias training for officers, recruited with purpose, folks who reflected the people they served. She personally reviewed patrol assignments, installed cameras in every patrol car, and when officers stepped out of line, they answered to her, not the old boys club. The media called her a reformer, a fighter. Her words sparked something in young black men and women. They stopped fearing the badge. They started picturing themselves behind it, to protect, to change things from within. Meanwhile, Allen's trial moved forward. The courtroom was packed. The community was watching. So was the nation. One by one, witnesses took the stand, telling their stories of harassment, intimidation, and being ignored. When Maya took the stand, her voice didn't shake. She wasn't rattled. She didn't play the victim. She told the truth. That moment in the hallway, It wasn't her breaking point, it was the spark. The evidence was overwhelming: body cam footage, internal reports, community testimony. It all pointed to one thing: Allen had abused his power for years. The jury didn't take long. Verdict: guilty on all counts. For the first time in county history, a corrupt cop wasn't just fired, he was sentenced to prison. But for Maya, that wasn't the win. The win was what came after. Reforms spread. Departments in nearby counties followed her lead. Bias training became the norm. Community policing programs expanded. Young people saw something new. That law enforcement didn't have to be feared. It could serve. It could protect. At every community event, Maya repeated one message: justice isn't a privilege, it's a right. She mentored young officers from every background. She lit the path for the next generation. And above her desk hung a photo, that moment in the courthouse hallway frozen in time, not a memory, a promise. Because real change doesn't come from silence, it comes when you stand up. Maya Carter broke barriers. With courage, grit, and community at her back, she proved that even the darkest chapters can be rewritten. The fight against racism, far from over. But one thing's for sure: a black woman is leading it, and nothing's gonna stop her.